What if Anakin Skywalker turned back to the light before Padme confronted him on Mustafar in Revenge of the Sith? That is our story for today, so let's dive in. Our story begins on Mustafar. The molten rivers of Mustafar flowed like veins of fire across the planet's scarred surface, the heat from the volcanic activity mingling with the acrid stench of burned machinery and charred bodies. The separatist leaders lay scattered across the chambers of Mustafar, their lives extinguished by Anakin Skywalker's hands. He had executed them swiftly, mercilessly, with the precision of a man lost to the dark side. And yet, in the suffocating heat of the planet, as the last echoes of their screams faded into the rumble of volcanic eruptions, Anakin felt a hollow emptiness settle in his chest. He stood atop a ridge of blackened rock, his breathing ragged, the wind whipping wisps of ash against his scorched tunic. His lightsaber, still glowing a searing blue, hung loosely at his side, its hum a reminder of the blood he had spilled, the betrayals he had committed. He sank to his knees, the lava heat burning through the soles of his boots, and for the first time in what feels like forever, he allowed himself to remember. He remembered Mace Windu, the blade of the Jedi Master, poised at Palpatine's throat, and the moment Anakin had betrayed him, not out of hatred but out of desperation, fear of losing Padme, and the twisted promise of power whispered by the Chancellor. He remembered the Jedi Temple, the cries of innocence, the halls drenched in the light and shadow of his own rage. And now, the separatist leaders, whose lives he had ended with cold efficiency, their bodies scattered the cold metal floors of Mustafar's mining facility. What have I become, he thought, a tremor of anguish running through him. I am no Jedi, and I am no Sith. What am I if not a monster? A sudden flash of light in the sky drew his attention. A ship descended gracefully through the smoke and fire. A familiar silhouette against the molten horizon. The Naboo cruiser slowed, landing on the scorched landing pad. Anakin's heart leapt. Padme. She emerged from the craft, her Naboo dress dusted with ash and smoke, but her eyes were wide with both fear and determination. She saw him immediately, stumbling forward through the heat haze, and for a moment they simply stared at each other. Padme's voice trembled. "Anakin, what have you done?" He collapsed fully onto the ground, covering his face with his hands as sobs racked his body. The weight of all he had done pressed down on him like the very volcanoes themselves. "Padme, I couldn't stop it. I tried. I thought I could protect you, but I..." Her hand rested gently on his shoulder and he flinched at the touch as though he were unworthy of comfort. "Shh," she whispered. "Anakin, I'm here. I'm not leaving you. But you need to face this. Truly face it. Not as a Sith, not as a Jedi, as yourself." Anakin's voice cracked. "I betrayed the Jedi. I killed Mace Windu. I slaughtered the temple. And now these people..." He gestured weakly at the bodies of the separatist leaders below. His chest heaved and tears ran down his ash-streaked face. "I can't undo it, Padme. I can't..." "You can make it right," she said firmly, kneeling beside him. "You can't change the past, but you can change the future. You can save lives now. Save the Republic. Save yourself." They sat together in silence, watching the glowing lava shift and churn below, Anakin's mind racing, fighting for clarity. And in that moment of quiet, his heart wavered, torn between guilt, grief, and a fragile spark of hope. Unseen by either of them, a figure stepped lightly from the shadows of Padme's ship, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He had watched Anakin spiral from the edge of the galaxy's chaos, and even now he struggled to find forgiveness in his heart. But he remained, listening to the quiet exchange, to the words of hope Padme offered, hoping Anakin might yet see the light. After a long pause, Obi-Wan's voice broke the tension. "Anakin," he said carefully, stepping forward. His tone was measured, wary, and heavy with unspoken resentment. "If you truly want to make amends, if you truly want to redeem yourself, then there is only one path left." Anakin looked up, eyes red and swollen, his soul trembling. "And what is that?" "Help Yoda," Obi-Wan said. "Help the Republic. Help me stop Palpatine. You've seen what he's become and what he will do if he succeeds. We can't allow him to win." Anakin's jaw tightened. He could feel the lingering pull of the dark side, the whispers that still lingered in the recesses of his mind. But when he looked at Padme, her hope, her faith, the life growing inside her, he felt something else, a strength he hadn't felt in years. He nodded slowly. Then, We do it, together. Padme smiled faintly, wiping tears from her own face. "I'll come with you," she said, but Anakin shook his head. "No, not this time. You need to stay safe. Someone must protect our child. You need to go somewhere you trust, somewhere Palpatine cannot reach." She nodded reluctantly, understanding the gravity of his decision. "I trust you, Anakin. Bring me back. Bring all of this back." Obi-Wan placed a firm hand on Anakin's shoulder. "Then we leave now." With one last glance at the fiery landscape of Mustafar, Anakin ignited his lightsaber once more, the familiar hum steadying his heart. Together, he, Padme, and Obi-Wan leapt aboard Padme's ship, and with a shudder of engines they ascended into the smog-choked sky, heading for Coruscant in the heart of Palpatine's corruption. The Senate building towered over the city planet like a monolith of power, its golden spires catching the light of Coruscant's twin suns. Inside, the chaos was palpable. The battle between Yoda and Palpatine had already begun, a storm of lightsabers, force powers, and the crackle of energy filling the vast corridors of the legislative chamber. Yoda moved with a speed that belied his age, striking at Palpatine with precise, deadly force-enhanced attacks. The Sith Lord countered with blinding bolts of force lightning, hurling pillars and repulsor pods alike through the air. Every corner of the chamber was engulfed in a maelstrom of power. From the balcony above, Anakin and Obi-Wan observed the battle, their hearts pounding. Yoda, while skilled beyond measure, was struggling against Palpatine's raw, unrestrained power. The Chancellor had grown monstrous, feeding on the dark side as he summoned currents of energy that warped reality around them. Anakin turned to Obi-Wan. "We have to help him. Yoda can't hold him much longer." Obi-Wan's jaw was tight, his mind racing. "Agreed, but we must strike together. Anakin, this is your last chance to make everything right." Anakin nodded grimly. "I won't fail." With a powerful leap, the two Jedi joined the fray. Palpatine's eyes widened as he recognized his former apprentice, fury and disbelief flashing across his face. "You!" he spat, his voice echoing like rolling thunder. "You were mine!" Anakin ignited his lightsaber with a determined hum, standing shoulder to shoulder with Obi-Wan. "No, Palpatine! I see through your lies," he said, his voice steady, full of the weight of redemption. The Senate chamber was a cathedral of chaos. Pillars of marble and gold crumbled beneath Palpatine's lightning. The air vibrated with the power of the Force, a storm swirling around the combatants. Yoda darted across the floor, small and agile, striking with the precision of centuries of training, while the Senate chamber erupted into pandemonium. From the balcony, Anakin and Obi-Wan arrived, dropping to the ground with a shockwave of kinetic energy that sent loose debris flying. Palpatine's gaze shifted, fury flaring as his former apprentice had returned. "Skywalker, you betray me?" he hissed, voice echoing with malice. Anakin ignited his blue lightsaber, stepping forward, the hum of the blade cutting through the charged air. "No, Palpatine, I serve the light now. I will stop you." Obi-Wan followed, his blade igniting with a familiar golden brilliance, stance-ready, eyes locked on the Sith Lord. Palpatine sneered and surged forward with the Force, throwing both Jedi across the chamber. Anakin slammed into a shattered pillar, pain shooting through his side, while Obi-Wan tumbled against a broken wall. Palpatine's lightning flared, illuminating the room in harsh red flashes. Yoda somersaulted into the fray, landing on a crumbling balcony above Palpatine. "Strong you have become, young Skywalker," he hissed. "But patience, control, together we must be." The duel escalated. Palpatine's attacks became a storm of force-empowered strikes. Columns toppled, chairs were hurled like missiles, and the air vibrated with force energy. Anakin, despite the burns and fatigue, ran toward Palpatine, igniting his own surge of anger, tempered now with clarity and purpose. He slammed into Palpatine's defenses, trading lightsaber blows with a speed fueled by desperation. Obi-Wan pressed in from the side, his strikes fluid and defensive, designed to create openings for Anakin and Yoda. Together, they formed a triangle of light, Yoda above, Anakin and Obi-Wan below. Palpatine lashed back, spinning, contorting his body unnaturally, hurling waves of lightning and telekinetic strikes at all three Jedi. Anakin could feel the dark side lashing at him, whispering, "You could destroy them. Take it. Take power." He gritted his teeth, focusing instead on Padme, on the children he was protecting in his heart. He drew on that hope, forcing the anger into precision. He leapt, striking a pillar, using it as leverage to swing over Palpatine, lightsaber flashing. Palpatine twisted, summoning a torrent of lightning. Anakin felt it rip through him, his muscles convulsing in searing agony, yet he pushed forward, tackling the Sith to the floor. They rolled across the chamber, sparks flying as their blades clashed in close quarters. Every punch, every swing was powered by years of betrayal, loss, and newfound purpose. Obi-Wan and Yoda were relentless. Yoda spun with impossible speed, creating openings in Palpatine's attacks, redirecting lightning and throwing debris at the Sith with telekinetic precision. Obi-Wan pressed in with masterful defensive strikes, his blade parrying with purpose, creating breathing space for Anakin to focus on the Sith himself. The fight reached a peak when Palpatine, enraged beyond measure, unleashed a massive burst of Force lightning, hurling Yoda and Obi-Wan into a wall. Yoda slammed into the marble with a painful crunch. Obi-Wan tumbled to the floor, dazed. Palpatine turned to Anakin, chest heaving, eyes burning with rage. "This ends now," he hissed, and surged forward faster than thought. Anakin, battered, bruised, and burning from the lightning, met the Sith in a final confrontation. Palpatine's red saber clashed with Anakin's blue. Sparks flew. Force energy surged like a storm around them, tearing apart the chamber in violent arcs. Palpatine struck with raw power, trying to overwhelm Anakin, but Anakin dodged, twisted, and forced the battle to the ground. Lightning coursed over Anakin's body, muscles screaming, yet he reached deep, calling on all his strength and love for Padme and his unborn child. With a primal roar, he tackled Palpatine, slamming him into the floor. Blow after blow rained down as Anakin's determination outweighed the Sith's raw fury. He summoned the Force, calling his lightsaber to him mid-strike, and with a final devastating thrust, drove it into Palpatine's chest. The red blade met the floor, the storm of energy dissipating instantly. Palpatine's eyes widened in disbelief and fury before going still. The chamber fell into a stunned silence, smoke and dust swirling in the aftermath. Anakin collapsed, shaking, burnt and exhausted, but victorious. Slowly, Yoda and Obi-Wan staggered back to him, both battered but alive. Yoda's eyes studied Anakin, disbelief and a flicker of hope passing through them. "In the end, the light you chose. Peace for you at last," he said, voice hoarse. Obi-Wan knelt beside Anakin, holding him. "You saved us. You saved the Republic. You saved them all." Anakin, trembling and fading, whispered through pain, "Take care of Padme. Our children, I can't. Not anymore." Obi-Wan's hands tightened around him, and Yoda stood nearby, surveying the devastation of the chamber. The battle was over. The Sith were defeated, and the galaxy had a chance at a future that would not be ruled by darkness. For a long moment, they simply stood there, the last defenders of the Republic, surrounded by the wreckage of victory and sacrifice. Then, slowly, Obi-Wan lifted Anakin into his arms. His weight was heavy, not just physically, but in the memories of years of laughter, battles, and betrayals. Together, he and Yoda left the ruined chamber. Word of Palpatine's death spread across Coruscant within hours. The Chancellor was dead, struck down in a battle with the Jedi. Confusion, fear, and relief rippled through the galaxy. The clone troopers, left without Palpatine's guiding command, hesitated. The iron grip of Order 66 wavered without the Sith Lord to enforce it. Many units stood down, unsure of their orders, while others awaited clarification from the Senate. In the emergency session that followed, chaos reigned. Senators screamed over one another, some demanding an immediate military crackdown to restore order, others calling for peace. It was Bail Organa who rose, his calm voice carrying above the noise. "We stand at a precipice. Palpatine's lies have poisoned our republic. His grip has strangled our freedoms. But his death gives us a chance to breathe again, to rebuild, to restore the values upon which this republic was founded. We must not replace one tyrant with another. We must not let fear guide us now." His words resonated. By unanimous vote, Bail was named interim chancellor, tasked with dismantling the corruption Palpatine had woven into every corner of government. Holonews networks broadcast the scenes of rebuilding. Clone troopers removing their helmets, senators reclaiming their independence, citizens celebrating in the streets. Yet beneath the celebration lay grief. The war had scarred every world, every family. The galaxy was free of Palpatine, but it would take years to heal. On Naboo, Padme stood by the window of the lakeside retreat, the twin children resting peacefully in their cradles. Her body was weak, her spirit heavier still. She was with Anakin as they departed from Mustafar with Obi-Wan, hope clinging to her heart. And then, hours later, the news came. Palpatine was dead, but so was Anakin. Tears traced down her face as she whispered to the empty room, "You came back to me, Annie, but only to leave me again." She looked down at Luke and Leia, their tiny hands reaching for the sky. "They'll never know your smile or your laugh, but they'll know who you truly were, not the monster the galaxy will speak of, but the man who chose love, even in his last breath." Obi-Wan entered quietly, carrying a folded Jedi robe. He set it beside the cradles, his expression pained. "He asked me to take care of you, and them. I swore I would." Padme turned, her eyes red but resolute. "You're not their father, Obi-Wan, but you'll be their protector, and together we'll keep his memory alive." The people of Naboo gathered in solemn reverence along the Theed River. Lanterns floated on the water, glowing softly in the twilight. Padme stood at the front, holding her children, with Obi-Wan and Yoda at her side. Senators from Alderaan, Chandrila, and Mon Cala attended quietly, while the holonet cameras respectfully refrained from intruding too close. Anakin's body lay upon a pyre, draped in simple Jedi robes, his lightsaber resting on his chest. There was no pomp, no grand ceremony, only silence and the hum of the river. Yoda spoke softly, his words carried by the Force itself. "Fallen he has, but forgotten never shall he be, a Jedi, and more than a Jedi. Chose light he did when shadow all around him was." As the pyre was lit, Padme whispered, her voice breaking, "Goodbye, my love. You gave your life so that our children could live free." The flames rose into the night sky, reflected in the river's calm surface. Obi-Wan watched with tears in his eyes, remembering the boy he had trained, the man he had lost, and the friend he had loved. Beside him, Padme held Luke and Leia closer, their small faces illuminated by the fire that consumed their father's body. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy slowly began to heal. Bail Organa, alongside Mon Mothma and other reformers, began dismantling the oppressive laws Palpatine had imposed. The clone army was gradually disbanded, many troopers choosing to live normal lives on worlds across the galaxy. The Senate, though battered, reclaimed its voice. On Naboo, Padme devoted herself to raising her children, with Obi-Wan ever watchful in the background. He trained quietly, ensuring that if the day came when Luke or Leia needed guidance, he would be ready. Yoda, meanwhile, withdrew to meditation, seeking wisdom in the Force, contemplating the prophecy of the Chosen One and what it truly meant. The galaxy was far from perfect. The scars of war remained, but there was hope now, real hope, born not of fear or lies, but of sacrifice and love. And though Anakin Skywalker was gone, his presence lingered in the Force. On quiet nights, Padme swore she could feel him near, a warmth in the air, a whisper of reassurance. Obi-Wan, too, sometimes felt it, an echo of the boy he once knew, smiling at him across the gulf of time. Luke and Leia would grow in a galaxy still finding its footing, but they would grow free. And when the day came for them to forge their own paths, they would do so not in the shadow of a Sith Lord, but in the light left behind by their father's final act of redemption. And that will do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of the story down in the comments below, as well as letting me know what other what-if stories you'd like to see. Of course, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you.